In an upscale restaurant, the ambience buzzed with low conversation and the soft notes of a pianist in the background. Keanu sat at his table, poised and calm, while Ashley, a waitress, approached with a predictable air of disdain. "Oh, and one more thing," she said, turning back with a smirk. "The minimum tip expected here is 20%. Just keep that in mind while you enjoy your meal." Her tone was meant to intimidate, but Keanu remained composed, a slight smile on his face as he took in the elegant surroundings. When she set down his appetizer, it slid a little on the table. "Here's your appetizer. I hope you enjoy it, or at least know what you're eating," she added mockingly. "Thank you," Keanu replied politely, unruffled by her words. Ashley leaned in, attempting to provoke him further. "A lot of customers who order this dish end up regretting it. It's not mainstream, but I think you'll manage. Good luck." Keanu maintained his steady demeanor. "It looks excellent. Thank you for your attention," he said, clearly unfazed. Frustrated that her attempts to elicit a negative reaction were failing, Ashley turned on her heel and muttered to a colleague, "That guy won't even make it to the main course. He'll ask for the check as soon as he sees the bill." Keanu leisurely continued with his appetizer, unaware of the disdain directed toward him. Across the dining room, Ashley observed him with crossed arms, a malicious smile forming as she speculated, "I bet he'll ask for tap water." "They always do," she quipped to another staff member who ignored her. At a nearby table, a kind elderly gentleman had been watching the scene unfold. He raised his wine glass in Keanu's direction and offered a silent toast, which Keanu acknowledged with a nod. Dinner was just beginning, but Ashley's growing contempt wouldn't go unnoticed for much longer. After taking Keanu's order, she chose to prioritize other patrons, chatting with couples and laughing exaggeratedly at jokes, letting time slip by as Keanu waited patiently. In an attempt to provoke him further, Ashley walked past his table repeatedly, pretending to be busy. Each time he glanced her way, she averted her eyes and quickened her pace, as if too occupied to assist. Finally, the elderly man, observing Ashley's behavior, approached Keanu. "Good evening, young man. I hope it's all right to interrupt, but I couldn't help but notice you've been overlooked," he said with a polite firmness. Keanu smiled back. "Good evening. It's fine, really." The elderly gentleman chuckled softly, leaning in to speak more quietly. "Sometimes being treated this way is a test of our patience, and maintaining your composure shows remarkable strength." Before Keanu could respond, Ashley suddenly appeared, interrupting them. "Sir, can I help you with something?" she asked, her voice polished but subtly authoritative. "Please don't disturb our customer," she added, casting an indifferent glance at the elderly man. He narrowed his eyes but retained his composure. "Don't worry, miss. I was just greeting this gentleman. It's rare to find someone so composed." Ashley emitted a dramatic sigh, gesturing back towards her tables. "Well, perhaps you should return to your table and enjoy your dinner," she said, clearly impatient. Keanu continued observing the interaction with a calm, yet analytical expression. "Thank you for coming over," he said to the elderly man, tipping his head respectfully. "It was a pleasure speaking with you." The elderly man nodded and returned to his table, casting one last disapproving glance at Ashley, who appeared entirely indifferent. Finally, when Ashley decided to bring Keanu's main course, she took longer than necessary, first stopping for idle chit-chat with the chefs, and then attending to other tables. When she finally served his meal, she slammed it down on the table with a brusque gesture. "Here's your order. I hope you enjoy it," she said mockingly. "And if you don't like it, we can always adjust it to something more affordable." Keanu remained unfazed. "It looks excellent. Thank you," he replied with the same calm demeanor. Ashley, frustrated that she couldn't provoke any complaints, walked away. At the bar, she sighed to a co-worker. He's pretending to be polite, but it's obvious he's uncomfortable. "Maybe he just wants to have dinner. Shouldn't we treat him like any other customer?" her co-worker replied. Ashley stared incredulously. Like any other customer? Did you see the boots he's wearing? He doesn't belong here. Meanwhile, a couple observing the situation whispered, "She's awful. He's being so polite, but she keeps trying to humiliate him." The man nodded in agreement. "It's disgraceful. We should say something to the manager." Back at his table, Keanu finished his meal calmly, noting sympathetic glances from other diners but remaining undisturbed. When Ashley returned to clear his plate, her expression still dripped with disdain. "How was the dish? Did it meet your expectations?" she asked with a forced smile. Keanu looked her straight in the eye. "It was excellent, thank you. Please let the chefs know they did an impeccable job." Surprised, she could not elicit any complaints and muttered as she walked away, "He might be smiling now, but let's see how he feels when the bill comes." Seated at his table, Keanu calmly observed, a slight smile lingering on his face. It seemed the moment for action was near. Ashley, increasingly frustrated by her inability to provoke him, chose to escalate her tactics. After serving him coffee, she spoke loudly enough for several nearby tables to hear. It's hard to maintain standards when just anyone thinks they can walk in here." Patrons around her began to take note. Some frowned, others whispered amongst themselves. The couple, outraged, gasped, "This is outrageous. She's trying to humiliate that man in public," the woman exclaimed. The elderly gentleman sipped his wine, shaking his head. "This has gone too far," he muttered in disapproval. Calmly seated at his table, Keanu remained unfazed. It was clear that his serene demeanor further unsettled Ashley, who felt the penetrating gazes of the patrons on her. The commentary continued. "He must be someone important to stay this calm." Another interjected, "Or maybe he's just stronger than she realizes." Determined to get a reaction, Ashley returned to Keanu's table. "I hope you're enjoying your experience," she said with an exaggeratedly sarcastic smile. "It's always interesting to have different kinds of people here. Adds a unique touch to the atmosphere." Keanu met her gaze steadily. "Different? Could you elaborate on what you mean by that?" Ashley laughed nervously, but Keanu's unyielding demeanor held her in place. "Oh, don't take it the wrong way. It's just that our clientele typically has a more traditional profile. It's rare to have someone with your style here." Now, the dining room fell silent, and nearby diners stopped talking, clearly eavesdropping. Ashley relished in the attention, but Keanu remained unperturbed. After a tense moment, he spoke, "You're right. Perhaps I should handle this differently." Confused, Ashley blinked at him. But before she could react, the restaurant manager appeared, quickly assessing the situation. "Mr. Reeves?" the manager exclaimed, his tone shifting immediately to one of respect. "I wasn't aware you were here today. Please let me know how I can assist you." Panic swept over Ashley as she realized the gravity of the situation. Keanu, holding the manager's gaze, replied calmly, "No need to worry. I'd like to have a brief conversation with your staff, if that's acceptable." Alarm set into the manager's expression, but he nodded. "Of course, Mr. Reeves. Whatever you need." Casting a reproachful look toward Ashley, he insisted, "I expect your full attention now." Ashley stammered, trying to regain control of the conversation. I didn't know. I thought." The manager interrupted her. "Thought what, Ashley? That this customer, who happens to be an owner of this restaurant, didn't deserve the same respect as anyone else." His voice was low but resonated with authority, draining her of any remaining confidence. "Everyone who walks through these doors deserves dignity," Keanu added, further emphasizing the point as heads turned and conversations halted. The dining room buzzed with astonishment as the connection between Keanu and the establishment became evident. "I knew there was something special about him," whispered one patron. The elderly gentleman nodded in approval. Keanu addressed the staff, his tone resolute. "Today illustrated a challenge that goes far beyond mere service. We witnessed the effects of snap judgments and hidden biases. This is an opportunity for growth. He paused to absorb the meaning of his words. True progress comes when we recognize the humanity in others, especially those we might overlook. The staff listened intently, their faces somber as Keanu continued, emphasizing the importance of kindness. We all carry unseen struggles. The one who seems out of place might be facing their worst day. Let us strive to offer empathy, regardless of our initial impressions. Finally, Ashley, sitting at the back, wiped her tears away. I, I never thought about it that way before, she admitted quietly. I was so focused on maintaining the restaurant's image that I forgot every person holds value, no matter who they are. Keanu nodded gently. That promise is to yourself, not to me. True change begins within you, and I'll be here to support you. With newfound determination, Ashley nodded, recognizing the chance to transform her perspective. Kindness is about the small choices we make every day. It's about treating everyone as if they matter because they do, which defines who we are as individuals and a community, Keanu concluded. As he prepared to leave, the atmosphere in the room shifted, filled with a sense of responsibility and hope. Outside, the streets of Beverly Hills sparkled under the city lights. Keanu paused, gazing back at the restaurant, reflecting on the evening's lessons. What unfolded wasn't merely about a restaurant or a mistreated patron. It was a call for recognition and respect for humanity. For Keanu, the night rang with truth. In a world where you can choose to be anything, choose to be kind. True strength arises not in judgment, but in acceptance, a notion he hoped others would carry forth. As he walked down those illuminated sidewalks, he reflected on the words he wished to share. It's in our small, daily choices that we shape the world around us and our own character. If you found this story resonant, know that there are many more like it. Click to uncover further tales of hope, compassion, and resilience.